Hi there, my name is Letitia Finder and welcome to my channel for another card tutorial. So today we're going to be making another Christmas card and it's a Christmas tree themed card. So to start off, I'm just showing you guys how I made the Christmas tree stencil, and basically all I did was go in and draw triangles, and I made one smaller and then they gradually got bigger, and the point goes in to the bottom of the first one. As you can see what I'm doing here. Now this isn't the one that I end up using, I just did this bigger to show you guys. And after you're done drawing, go in and outline it. I also colored it in so you guys could see the exact shape. You can use a ruler if you'd like it to be really exact, and then you just go in and you cut it out with like an X-Acto knife. Now I did this on some watercolor paper, but you can use like cardstock or any thicker paper will do, because you're just creating a stencil. And this is a really great option if you ever need something like this or any kind of shape that's easy enough to make. I actually do this quite often when I'm making cards or crafting. So basically you're just going to make the tree to the size that you want it on the card. So you can see here I've made it a lot smaller. And I'm just showing you guys the paper that I found. So I actually got 3 of these little booklets at the Dollar Tree, and they're really great, and they had all different kinds of patterns and they're just beautiful. So I wanted to show you guys that that's where I got it from, just in case you happen to go to a Dollar Tree and you want to try to find it. I actually made quite a few cards with it this year, and I'm very happy with it. So, and I still have a bunch left over that I'll be able to use again next year. Alright, so all I've done is start off by making an A2 size card base that I just made out of white cardstock. And then I'm going in and I'm just marking off the size of my card onto the paper that's going to be the backing. And I'm making this the exact size. So I have some paper here that is just a bunch of Christmas trees on the back. Or trees on the back. It's just a pattern. And that is going to be the backing for the card. So I'm not leaving like any kind of border around it. That's just going to cover the whole base of the card. I'm just going in with some scrap white cardstock that's cut in a rectangle, and I'm going to tape down the stencil here. Now to use the stencil, sorry, I'm using my Petal Point by Colorbox, and I'm just going in with the lighter and darker green, and I'm using my Recollection sponge tool. And you can just use a regular dish sponge or a makeup sponge and just go in and layer on the colors. In between colors, I also wiped the sponge tool off with a baby wipe. And I was happy with that, so I just went in and I took the stencil off, and you can keep the stencil and reuse it as you like. So I'm just cutting my tree down to size. And I actually this is my Fiskars paper cutter, and the little blade on the inside of the part that you hold kept popping off, so I just had to keep sticking it back in. But if that happens to you, you know, it's really easy just to stick back in. So I'm trimming it down because originally I was just going to leave it a white square around the tree, and then I decided that I was just going to cut it out. So I just cut a white border around the tree. And I just tried to do this as evenly as possible. I didn't measure anything, I just eyeballed it all. So I actually found it easiest to use my X-Acto knife while doing this. I found that my scissors just weren't giving me close enough cut into the points that I wanted, and I was able to get that using the blade. So, you know, you can try to use your scissors if that's all you have, and you can definitely get the same effect. It was just a little harder to do it like that. So I'm just going in and I'm measuring how big I'd like the backing to the tree to be. And I'm just going to be cutting a rectangle and putting the tree in the middle of the card. So I'm just kind of eyeballing how big I'd like it to be. And I'm just fooling around to see where I want the tree to sit with what part of the pattern I want backing it, because I'm going to be trimming it down. So then I just stick it down with some craft glue after I decide where it looks best or what part of the pattern I like the most anyways. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim it down. I decided that I wanted a little bit of a border on that as well to make it pop a bit more. So I just used some white cardstock and I glued the tree and the backing onto this white cardstock. And then I just trim it down to the size that I want. And I left a very, very minimal white border on this. It's actually, if you're not really looking, you don't really notice it's there. You can just see that the tree is popping a little bit more. So it's a very, very small, but obviously you can change this around and make it as thin or thick as you like. It just depends on your taste. I'm just going in with some brown cording. I'm not sure what it's called exactly. I also just got it at the Dollar Tree in the jewelry section. It's to make like bracelets and whatnot. And I used the dark brown that I had, and I'm just wrapping it around the paper. And then I'm using some washi tape on the back to hold it in place. Now I'm gonna leave that washi tape there even when I'm gluing it down and whatnot, because you don't see it, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It's just gonna help everything stay stable. So I'm just like lightly, loosely tying this little bow here, and I just tied it the way I would tie my shoelaces. And I'm just doing that to kind of place everything where I want it to be. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start placing the adhesive on the back of the Christmas tree. And I'm using some foam adhesive just to add some more dimension to the card and some more interest. So I started off with, just some on each corner and some in the middle, and I found that this just wasn't enough for this particular embellishment. So I went in and I added a bunch more. So the thing is like covered in foam squares. You want your cards to be stable, right? So you kind of have to feel around, if you're pushing down on it just to stick the adhesive on and it's pushing in, chances are it's gonna get a little ruined or squished, especially if you're mailing it. So I just like to make sure that it stays stable. Maybe a little too thoroughly, but I'm not sure you can be too thorough with that. So I'm just centering it right in the middle and adhering it down and making sure it's nice and snug there. And then I'm going to go in, and the last thing to do is to play with the bow and then adhere the whole thing together. So I'm just going in and I'm placing some washi on it to hold it in place. Now that washi is going to be taken off later, so you want to make sure it's a washi or some tape that isn't going to ruin the backing of your card. And I just did that to keep everything nice and tight and together while I was fiddling with the bow here and trimming it down and whatnot. And you'll see I did it a couple times to try to get it just right. I found that this cord isn't the one that I normally buy when I go to the Dollar Tree. It was actually wrapped around some cardboard differently than the other one I buy, and it had like really big kinks in it. Like they were like folded, and I couldn't get it straight. So that gave me a little bit of trouble, but I made it work. It ended up working, and you just played with it for a little bit. And I wasn't, really interested in getting this absolutely perfect. This looks like a little bit more of a rustic card to me, so I wasn't too concerned with fussing with it. I did use a little bit of glue just in the center of the bow there to give it some more stability, because I didn't want it unraveling itself, and that'll help make it stick. So now that's all that's left to do, is to stick it onto the card, and that's the card. So if you like this video, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, you can click that subscribe button down below, and you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you guys are enjoying these Christmas cards and enjoying the start to your holiday season. Until next time, my crafty friends.